2024 New York Giants mock draft 2.0 with a twist and with a trade. We're going to just start out, hop right into it with round one, pick number 6, wide receiver Rome Odunze from Washington. Again, a lot of people are asking, is it going to be a wide receiver for the Giants? Is it going to be someone like Malik Neighbors? Or are they going to go quarterback and pick someone that is way too high for how they performed in college, J.J. McCarthy? We do not do that. We go with best player available here, which was and is Rome Odunze at 6. I'd be super happy with this pick, as I'm sure Alex would be as well. I mean, he's the one who made the pick after all in the mock draft. So, Alex, I'll send it to you to kind of, break down this a little bit more.
Yeah, first 3 picks. It was Caleb Williams, then Jaden Daniels, then Drake May, and then Cardinals and Chargers go back-to-back receivers in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors. You're stuck there as the Giants between J.J. McCarthy and Rome Odunze, and in this particular scenario, they go wide receiver. And Rome Odunze, I mean, he's 6'3", 215. He's a big guy. He can move, though, as well. Sub 4, I believe in the low 4.40 time. And he's, only a junior right now, so definitely not on the super older side. He's got great size and strength. His change of direction is really impressive for someone his size. He's got good ball skills. His catch radius is really large as well, coming with that frame. Only cons for him is long speed's not exactly the best. And his explosiveness at times, can't match some of the guys who are a little bit smaller than he is. But a really, really good player and has had a really good career at Washington as well.
And I'm going to go through that career right now, a little briefly. In 2022, 75 catches, 1,145 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Up that this past season, obviously making him a top 10 pick in this year's draft. 92 catches, 1,640 yards, so over 500, more receiving yards than the year previous to that, and 5 more touchdowns with 13. And then obviously Washington made it pretty far. So looking at big games that he's played in against 5th-ranked Oregon in the Pac-12 championship in December, he had 8 catches for 102 yards. They ended up winning that game, obviously. They were in the college football semifinal against 3rd-ranked Texas, where he had 6 catches for 125 yards. And in the biggest game you could play in college football, the college football final against Michigan, 5 catches for 187 yards for our number 6 pick, Rome Odunze out of Washington. And, if you're going to take someone like Rome Odunze, why not match him with the player that threw the ball to him, the quarterback that threw the ball to him for his college career? Alex, ding, 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 we got a trade alert.
Bro,
and the Giants
I was on the phone, Josh. I was on the phones.
Alex was on the phone with Andy Reid and the Chiefs organization to get what?
The 32nd overall pick, moving up from pick 47. This will cost us in the range of a future 3rd and future 4th or 5th. Of course, we could use current picks, but then that is absolutely no fun for this mock draft. So we chose to do future picks, but I would imagine one of the picks would be current. And we go up and we get QB Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. So you get, of course, the 5th-year option with this pick when you get to 32, which is always something you got to keep in mind. 6'3", 213. He's a senior. He's got really good arm strength. His deep ball accuracy is really strong. And his pre-snap reads as well. You could tell he's really confident from that aspect as well. The only cons for him, he's got inconsistent accuracy in that short or intermediate range. His injury history, obviously, multiple years of just absolutely awful injuries. And then age, he's 24 years old already. That could be a concern in terms of developing him into something even greater than, say, someone like J.J. McCarthy, who's 20 years old and has got 4 years on him. So it's something you got to keep in mind for sure.
I just want to make it clear that everyone heard that and saw that correctly. The Giants trade back in to the first round at pick 32. They match up the wide receiver that they took at 6 with the quarterback that threw to him in college at 32. So that Washington connection is there. How does Michael Penix slot in with Daniel Jones on his final year? The injury history. Giants fans might not like that when you have a player like Daniel Jones who also has an injury history. But that's what we have here, and that's why it is a mock draft. Let's go into the stats for Michael Penix real quick. 4,641 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions in 2022. about 500 and more passing yards. The following year, this past season on their run, 4,903 yards, 5 more touchdowns at 36, but 3 more interceptions at 11, which obviously he threw the ball more. More interceptions are going to happen. Alex mentioned the injury history. Let's just go through it now and refresh everyone's mind. 2018, he tore his ACL. In 2019, he dislocated a joint in his non-throwing shoulder, which then ended his season. In 2020, retore that ACL. So 2 years later, retore the ACL. 2021 ended after only 5 games because he suffered a dislocated joint in his throwing shoulder. So had a dislocated joint in his non-throwing in 2019, dislocated joint in his throwing shoulder in 2021. It's been all over the place. But this past year, obviously, super well. In the Sugar Bowl against Texas, 430 yards, 2 touchdowns in the national championship. Not great. Michigan was a powerhouse, 255 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. But Giants still get their quarterback at the end of the first round by trading back in. Okay, round 3, pick 70 is our next pick. Running back we address here, Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. I mentioned them now a couple times with the Sugar Bowl. He's had some time there, had a deep run this year, all the way to the college football semifinal. Alex has some more on him.
Yeah, obviously they had a bunch of great running backs in the past years. Most memorably Bijan Robinson, and of course this guy comes in, Brooks, and he just fills his shoes not completely, but pretty full in comparison to a talent like Bijan Robinson. He's got great long speed. He's changing directions really good. He's really shifty. And then he's actually a pretty good pass catcher as well, which is something that I think is kind of underrated in his game. And also, he's the top back in this class by most people. And to get him in the third round, I just want to interject before I get to the cons, was really impressive. But he did keep falling to me, so it wasn't a one-time thing. And then negatives, he does have, in terms of power, like he will not, like he can't really get through. He's not going to. I guess what's the word, Josh? I'm trying to think of a Madden term. Truck through 3 big 300-pound defensive linemen. But he can get around them. He could shift around them. And I think that's the most important thing. And pass protection as well is obviously not great, but that's something that most running backs struggle with when they get in the NFL, and that's something that needs to be coached up. But a really young guy as well, only 20 years old. So overall, I think it's a really positive pick, and the Giants need running back desperately.
And Alex, a perfect time to peak is right before you go into the draft. And that is exactly what Brooks did in 2023. It was his breakout season, didn't really get a lot of playing time, nor did he, express his play style well during that time period. So in 2023, had 187 carries for 1,139 yards, 10 touchdowns alongside that. You look back at 2022, it was like 197 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. So up the touchdowns by 5 more, up the yards by almost 800 more. So obviously 2023 led him to becoming a second team all Big 12, and that is who we have the Giants picking in round 3. Round 4 now, pick 107. We address obviously another need. That's what you do in the NFL draft. At quarterback this time, and Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon. Alex has more on him.
Yeah, Jackson, he's a guy who's so tall at the cornerback position. He's 6'4", 194. He's got really great length and size, and he still runs a 4.5. He's, a very good job of tracking the ball as well in the air, and you could see he's got good ball skills from his time in Oregon, and he's a really good tackler as well. The only negatives is that he's kind of handsy, gets a lot of penalties. He's definitely not someone who can be able to make up speed if he kind of messes up to begin with. So that's kind of an issue for him. And then also, besides being tall, he's a little bit weak at the line of scrimmage in terms of pressing the receiver. So those are just a couple of things. But for what you can get in the 4th round, I think Kyrie Jackson's a hell of a player.
And so a little bit more into his stats this past season: 34 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 7 pass deflections. He transferred to Alabama in 2021 and then transferred to Oregon in 2023 after not getting as much playtime as he would have liked with the Crimson Tide. Okay, from round 4 to round 5. Pick 166. I'm sure a lot of people have been asking, where is that offensive lineman? Well, he's right here. At number 166, it's offensive tackle Javon Foster out of Missouri.
Yeah, Foster, he's a guy who's got really great length and size and just kind of needs to develop his game in the NFL. Hence why we're sitting here in the fifth round talking about him. But he's got really great length. He gets to the second level really quickly in the run game, so that's not his biggest issue. But in the pass game, his technique is definitely something that needs to be, I guess, improved dramatically, because he over commits himself in the passing game. Guys just get around him, and it's a big issue despite being so talented in terms of his physical attributes, his size. So definitely an interesting player. When you get this late, there's always some cons, but I think he has enough upside that the Giants would be willing to take a shot on him.
And going into his notes a little bit, first team All SEC this year, third team AP All American, 39 career starts at left tackle and 2 at right tackle. So I said it again, I'll repeat myself. Where are the offensive linemen? Well, back to back in our final picks, we address that need. We go offensive tackle first, we go offensive guard second. So, like I said, round 6, pick 183, offensive guard. Javion Cohen out of Miami. Alex, you have more on him.
Yeah, a really, really good run blocker, gets the second level, can read double teams, whatever it may be. And he's just really a beast in that aspect of the game. And he's just very bad in pass protection again. So I think that's a common theme generally with late round offensive linemen, of course, that run blocking, they're usually much better than they are pass protecting. But pass protecting for Cohen, he's just very overextending constantly, which leaves him totally exposed to some of these interior guys. And that's something he's going to need to work on really a lot in the NFL, because, you look at guys like, obviously Aaron Donald's retired now, great career for him, but even other guys like Dexter Lawrence, even on the Giants, or Quinn Williams, or Derek Brown, who just got paid by the Panthers. Like, there's some really elite guys at that position, and they'll just make you pay if you overextend like the way he does. So definitely a few things he needs to work on, but again, really solid value, I think, in the 6th round as someone who could probably be more of a 4th or 5th round guy.
All right, I'm looking at his notes a little bit. 12 starts at left guard in 2023. He originally committed and played 3 seasons for Alabama, which I feel like is where every top prospect wants to go, right? Started 24 games at guard before transferring to Miami prior to the 2023 season. Overall in his career, 36 starts primarily at left guard. So he's had some experience. He's played for big programs, and obviously moving from the SEC with Alabama to the ACC with Miami, that's a change that if you want to start, that's what you got to do. And that's what Cohen did. And I think it'll lead him to becoming a pick in this year's NFL draft. In this mock draft, he goes to us in the 6th round. So let's recap one more time for you, our 2024 New York Giants mock draft 2.0. Okay, round 1, pick 6, wide receiver Rome Odunze out of Washington. What do? We match him up by trading back into the 1st round, take the picks from the Chiefs for a 3rd round pick next year. What was it, Alex, for a future
3rd and 4th-ish, but 3rd and
Okay.
5th depends on how greedy they are.
Quarterback Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington is that 1st round pick at 32. Round 3, pick 70, running back Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. Round 4, pick 107, quarterback Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon. Round 5, pick 166, offensive tackle Javon Foster out of Missouri. And ending it with round 6, pick 103, offensive guard Javion Cohen out of Miami. And that's going to do it for the mock draft 2.0, 3.0 coming soon, baby. But let us know what you think about this mock draft in the comments below.